I hear the cheers.
Who's the cheer?
Hernan Garcia.
Hernan Garcia.
What, 1 second here. Hernan Garcia, who just came through the finish line, lives in Cocoa Village, 24 miles away. He ran to the starting line and then ran a marathon.
That's running.
All right, heads up spectators, photo, media. Our hand cyclists are about 500 meters out, and they are going to be coming through this finish line at about 30 miles an hour. And for their safety and yours, we please ask that you clear the course. Please clear the course, because our hand cyclists will be coming through here in just a minute or two. You can see them down the finish stretch, and as I mentioned, they're going to be coming through at 30 miles an hour. You do not want to be in their way. It would be painful to them and to you. So once again, runners still finishing, but we've got our hand cycle leader, who was Mark Lido out of Canada after the first lap. We're not sure who's in the front now. Runners, if you're finishing, please stay to the right. Once again, we expect to see our hand cycle finishers here shortly. Last check was that Mark Lido out of Canada was in front, but that was after only one lap. Anything can happen here in the last 5 kilometers.
No.
And while all that was going on, we had Kathleen Catlett, we had Roland Geisler from Aarau, Switzerland. We had Dana McFarland, Beta Janovic.
We got John Kyle here, ran the whole marathon with that flag. Let's hear it for John.
And there goes Gilles. John Pyle.
Okay. Sorry. That was an extremely aerodynamic mustache, I have to say.
We are a mustache-friendly crew here. One of our photographers, Tim Truelove over there, he's rocking the mustache. We've had a couple runners come through with fabulous mustaches. I'm converting to mustache later in the week. Not. Hey, there goes Renee Tursak. And here goes hand cycler coming down the line. Folks, clear a path as Julie Yoakum and Ryan Hall make their way through.
All right, hand cycle finisher. This is going to be our winner of our hand cycle race today. Once again, clear the course, clear the course. They're going to be coming through very fast. We're going to find out who it is here in just a second. 2 of them look like they're sprinting for the line. And that's Mark Lido.
Photo finish.
That looked like Mark Lido out of Canada. Looks like he led from the gun and just edged out Dane Pilon out of North Carolina. Third, the gold medalist from the Paralympic Games. Third was Oz Sanchez out of San Diego. Fourth was Chris Peterson racing for the top end team. So an incredible finish. Just an hour and 14 minutes.
How was that? Those guys came through here so fast. Look at this guy. Sean Rohan. You see what just passed you? Like a...
It was like a hurricane going by him. Yeah, so an hour and 13 minutes for our top hand cyclist.
To do 26 miles.
To do 26 miles. Here's Scott McNeese. Scott out of St. Pete, Florida, former world champion. This is your elite of the elite in the hand cycle world.
Wow, that was a photo finish, literally. I mean, they were...
We call that a tire width, maybe even a wheel
width.
A wheel length.
It was
or
half a wheel width. It looked like half a wheel width. I'd like to see the photo.
Pretty tight finish there. Mark Lido, the crafty Canuck, who was wearing a plain old red jersey, no sponsors, no logos, no nothing. We weren't sure who he was on the first lap, a little bit of an unknown, and a bit of an upset here for him to come here and take it basically wire to wire. So nice ride from Mark Lido out of Canada.
Beverage. Fellow announcer, Beverage. Yes. Tim Truelove is also a crafty Canuck. But yeah, that's exciting. And I remember last year, one of the highlights of my whole weekend was that.
The hand cyclers.
The hand cyclers.
Second year here in Melbourne.
I'm like mind blown at the speed and like what they do. Like what they put themselves through to do what they do.
It's amazing the caliber of some of these athletes. They're world-class athletes, and this is, of course, the season opener, once again, of the 2011 U.S. Hand Cycling Series.
That's upper body strength, for sure. As Hector Mayall just came through in the marathon on foot. And here we go, look at this.
Coming through.
Teammates.
That looks like Dave Randall and Matt Updike, two members of the U.S. Paralympic team, as well as Team Invacare Top End. Crossing the line, a little bit of solidarity there. Nice to see. Oh, I know.
Oh, he knows. He's on point.
Okay, so starting to see more hand cyclists finishing now. We had a field of over 60 athletes today.
Last year there was like 40.
Yeah, so it's great to see it growing here. Second year for hand cycling here in Melbourne. Once again, the season opener of the 2011 U.S. Hand Cycling Series. We'll be going to Redlands, California next, so coast to coast. All right, this is going to be Brian Mitchell out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, just yo-yoing off the back of that group a little bit, but finishing not too far behind them, so a nice ride from Brian. This is going to be Todd Richardson out of North Carolina. Those guys are what we call riding in no man's land, meaning they're not able to get a draft and pace with other riders.
All right, there's a father and son tandem, Gary and David Trueblood. Gary hails out of Belvedere, Illinois. David from Chicago, probably a couple Bears fans. I'm sorry about your quarterback who's a giant wuss. That's all right. NFL draft is coming up.
I'm from Denver. We got rid of him in Denver. So.
You in Denver. You got rid of him, and you scored. You got Florida Gator. Tim Tebow. I mean, that guy's amazing. I'm not a Gator fan, but how about Jerry Reindow?
All right, there's Carlos Mileta, a former Navy SEAL out of South Carolina, and I guarantee you he loves pain, which is why he was flying so fast there across the finish line. One of our combat-injured veterans.
Awesome. You got to salute. We should be saluting a lot of these hand cyclists, I'm sure.
Absolutely. The Paralyzed Veterans of America, Team PVA, got about a 10-man team here, all disabled veterans. So it's great to see them. They were a sponsor of the hand cycle race today, along with Invacare Top End, who kind of brought the race here to Melbourne, Florida.
Where are you from?
Denver, Colorado.
Denver, you just said that. I'm sorry. And here comes Claudette Giroux. I tried. North Miami Beach. Is that your Claudette?
Jim Laird, another one of our hand cycles.
And Francisco Creniti from Philly. From Philadelphia, PA. Give it up, baby. E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles.
We are still awaiting the arrival of our first women's hand cycle finisher. Some tight competition out there today between Muffy Davis, a U.S. Paralympic team member, as well as Chantal Petitclerc, former Paralympic gold medalist out of another crafty Canuck. So a lot of our hand cycle finishers doing that race, all of our hand cycle finishers who finished up until this point have done the hand cycle race in under 1:20. And that is just flying.
All right, in the last couple seconds, last couple minutes, we've had Steve Diaz, James Blake, Lauren Leffler, Jeff Hopkins, Jeff Kennedy, and Michael Parker.
Yep, those are three of our hand cycle finishers there. Jeff Hopkins, manager of the Paralyzed Veterans of America racing team, so a good ride from him, just over 120. I've got Kriga Shabor here, and Kriga Shabor was one of the favorites going into the race. As we mentioned earlier, in October, he did the Ironman Championship in
9:26:04.
So Kriga, little mishap there today out on the course. It threw you out of the race early, a little bit of a crash. Tell us what happened.
Well, at mile 3 or 4, it got a little bit tight, and you want to pass some guys, and just happened so my left back wheel nipped one of the cones and flipped me sideways, and then someone pushed me from behind and went over and got scuffed up a little bit on the arms, but I'm okay. I can pedal again. So.
But you rolled it. You rolled your hand cycle.
I rolled it. All my tires came off, and all my wheels. I lost a good couple of spokes, and yeah, gotta get some new wheels as well.
Well, you've been a wheelchair athlete for how many years?
20 years.
20 years, and we know you're a tough customer, so we're glad you're okay, Kriga. I also should mention, as another finisher there, Kriga, we put some HD sports cameras, and we couldn't decide which hand cycle to put them on this morning, to put 2 cameras on. Well, they ended up on Kriga's bike. And Kriga, after that crash, we're super excited to take a look at that video footage.
Wow. It's getting like, so it's like almost like NASCAR out there. These guys are not giving an inch. They're rubbing and racing.
I think it was about 30 miles an hour when he
How's
crashed.
this? Steve Busher and family. So is that rubbing is racing out? Is that what it is out there?
Absolutely.
Nowadays,
yeah.
rubbing is racing.
We actually had to institute a rule that they had to have a drafting bar, which is a bar that extends between the 2 back wheels, because they were riding so close together and bumping and rubbing is racing, like you said, that it was getting a little dangerous, and they were getting the front wheel of one bike caught between the 2 back wheels of another. So we instituted the drafting bar rule, which helps from a safety perspective. Unfortunately, did not help Kriga today.
Wow. I definitely would like to see, I mean, you hate to see the accident, but it would be interesting to see how that all went down. We got some people going across. We got Steve Montera, Jean-Luc. Steve Busher came across. Ricardo Rojas. Oh, my papers are blowing away. I'm sorry about my papers.
This is John Pyle, Travis, the name of the flag.
Yes, let me, my papers are blowing away. John Pyle ran the marathon with the American flag. How was it out there today?
It was windy.
Windy?
Windy. At the start, it was very windy.
Did the wetness play a factor?
No, it was nice, cool.
That's Chris Ayers just crossing the line there. Chris Ayers, one of our wounded warriors, disabled veteran. Great ride from Chris.
All right, where's Tim Truelove? Because we need photography. John Pyle, you have a great mustache. I mean, an amazing mustache. And we have to get photos of that with your American flag. We thank you for coming out here. We thank you for running. Good job today. All right. Where are you from?
Sarasota.
Oh, awesome. Coming from the West Coast.
My bone was like, I wasn't out of the skin.
If you'll see Tim Truelove, he's got a camera, he's got a mustache, not as good as yours. But it is what it is.
All right, so we've had quite a few, I think around 20 or so hand cycles finish. Amazing the caliber of this competition here in Melbourne.
Ricky McDonald. There is
Rafael Ibarra out of Atlanta, Georgia. Josh Sharp.
You guys want to interview anybody? Make sure you're straight on the camera.
Oh, okay. We'll do. Sorry, I know we're slacking on that.